Hey everybody, and welcome to this analysis on the super new moon on the 4th of June in Scorpio. So yeah, let's dive right in there. And it's kind of weird because it is in Scorpio, but the moon void of course starts at 4:42, which is the time of the super full moon as well, and then the moon enters Sagittarius at 10:53, so it kind of happens when the moon is technically even though it is still. The reason why I don't fully subscribe to void of course anyway is because although it's not making any major aspects, which are quintile, getting the concepts mixed up. So void of course moon is when any planets or luminaries on the moon are not making any major, so conjunctions, squares and sextiles to any planets, but they're always making what are called minor, which I don't see them as minor, but sectiles and quintiles and stuff like that as well. Aspects are still going on, so this is why I don't fully subscribe to the void of course thing, but I do report it. So anyway, I'm going to focus on the supermoon that's happening right now. So yeah, that's what I'm going to talk about. So as I said, at 4:42 a.m, the time of the supermoon in Scorpio, the moon makes a sextil to Venus and a trine to Mars and a semi-square to Pluto and a bisectile to Neptune and a trine to Chiron. At the same time, the sun will make a semi-square to Venus, a nouveau to Jupiter and a triundecile to Saturn and sextil to Pluto as well. So yeah, the super full moon in Scorpio symbolises a time of profound transformation, self-discovery and the unveiling of truths if we're open to it. The moon will be in the 20th degree at Scorpio with the tagline, which is a woman drawing two dark curtains aside, indicating uncovering the concealed, hidden information or emotions. Also, the sun will be in the 20th degree of Taurus with the 7 degree tagline, and wisps of clouds like wings are streaming across the sky, suggesting a sense of freedom and desire to break free from limitations. So the sable symbols of the super full moon Scorpio encourages us to use our intuition and introspection to uncover hidden truths, release old patterns and to enter a new period or continue our spiritual growth and transformation. So as I said, firstly I'm going to talk about the moon aspect. So the moon's making a sextil to Venus, so this allows for a reassessment of our values but can also lead to emotional outbursts. So those who may be suppressing their emotions, hiding them, may find it challenges to keep them in check during this full moon period because the moon and it's super, so it's amplifying everything. So the good news is that this aspect can help us bring about positive change in our relationships. It can help us to be more open and honest about our feelings, leading to deeper connections with loved ones or ending relationships that no longer serve us. The negative influence of this transit is that it can cause impulsive decision making and the tendency to prioritise pleasure over responsibility. The best use of this aspect is to take time to examine our personal values and determine if they align with our goals and aspirations, and it's also helping us to express ourselves more creatively as well. Also at the time of the super moon, the moon makes a trine to Mars, so this can increase our energy and gives us the power to focus on our goals. So yeah, it provides us with the motivation to pursue our goals more enthusiastically, but it can also trigger a sense of fearless determination. That is good because it can allow us to confront our obstacles head on without hesitation, but this fearlessness can make us not be aware of other people's boundaries, so we have to watch out for that. And we have to keep in mind that the ideals and goals we pursue right now must be in alignment with our authentic values and not the result of internal pressures or societal expectations, what other people expect us to do or what we feel we need to do as well. So to make the most of this transit at the time of the super full moon, we have to be mindful of our values and objectives and take actions towards them in a way that aligns with our own unique nature. The moon semi-square to Pluto shows that semi-square can make it uncomfortable, so we may be forced into changes energies, and it can also be, you know, it amplifies the emotional intensity that's already there with the moon being in Scorpio and Pluto rules Scorpio as well. So this emotional sort of obsessive jealous energy, this intensity can be really, really potent right now. So this can lead to power struggles, confrontations, because some of you may be forced to look at your deeper emotions, because like I said, you may become a bit obsessed or jealous over other people's success or whatever it is. So although this time can be a time of crisis and opportunity, it can help us break through and let go of old patterns and transform ourselves if we're open to it. But we have to be cautious not to let this energy overwhelm us, but it probably will anyway. But ultimately, although it brings destruction and, you know, repressed emotions and things we may want to keep hidden to the surface, it does provide us with the inner strength and courage that allows us to not give in to self-destructive behaviour and manipulation, and so we can embrace change and let go of whatever no longer serves us, while also taking care of our emotional well-being as well. The moon sceptile Neptune adds to the increased imagination and spiritual insights. So this energy helps with the self-reflection the full moon calls for anyway. Also good for all sorts of meditation, and for some of you it can lead to a more profound understanding of yourself and your spiritual or life purpose. So it helps, gives that kind of, adds to the creativity and allows us to be more creative in the way that we approach life right now as well. But on the negative side, it can add to the confusion and delusion of the day, so it's essential to stay grounded and avoid making significant decisions. So, you know, make those plans. Some of you will have to just break free, but just try not to blow your whole house up as well. The best use of this energy is to focus on inner growth and spiritual development. By balancing imagination with reality, you can harness the spiritual insights that the moon bisector Neptune is offering. Also, the moon is trining Chiron today, so this allows for the healing and transformation that Pluto and all the other aspects I talked about are pushing us into, with the moon being in Scorpio as well. So this transit indicates a time when we can tap into our emotional wounds and use them as tool for growth and realization. So it promotes emotional healing, releasing those patterns and helping us to forgive and have more compassion towards ourselves and others, which is good. Also supporting all sort of intuitive insights, creativity that can be used to manifest your desires. Negatively, it can also, you know, add to the intensity of emotions, and the only way through this, even though we may want to numb ourselves to them, is to engage in self-reflection. It's essential to avoid repressing or avoiding our feelings right now, as it can just lead to more further emotional distress in the long run. The best use of this transit is to be compassionate in our approach towards ourselves and others, allowing ourselves to work through our emotional wounds with grace and understanding. So the moon trine Chiron at the time of the super full moon in Scorpio can provide an opportunity for deep healing, real deep, you know, not surface but getting deep and feeling that pain and suffering and looking forward to coming out at the other side. We're not looking forward, but yeah. So if we do this, we can tap into our inner potential from the lessons that we can learn from, you know, processing our emotions, so we can manifest our best lives. Also great energy to, you know, practice all forms of self-care, self-compassion, forgiveness as we journey towards greater emotional freedom and healing, and we can trust in the process. If we, you know, that the universe is guiding us to something deeper, even though, you know, we may be unsettled right now. The sun semi-square Venus at this time can also add to conflict in relationships and brings up issues of self-worth as well. So the sun represents our ego and sense of self. Venus governs love, beauty and harmony and our inner values as well, which may differ from our outer values. So these two meanings trying to tell us to find a balance between our superficial values, what other people expect of us, as I said earlier, and to be more open to expressing our authentic selves, even though it can be scary right now in the way that the world is. Also, this energy can put a spotlight on the relationships that are not meeting your needs right now, and for some of you, you may be demanding, or your partners may be demanding right now, and so this may bring up conflict, and this can cause separation for some of you. But as I said earlier, sometimes we have to go deep. We have to say those things that can be mean to bring more authenticity into our relationships. So on a deeper level, some of us may feel a sense of unworthiness and struggle to find a balance between our personal desires and needs. But again, this energy promotes or the healing of whatever comes up right now. The Sun, Nova, Jupiter allows us to focus on being more optimistic in the crap that's happening right now, and also to kind of like be expansive and focus on our goals as well. So we have to be careful not to get carried away with the optimism that this energy brings, or to take on too much as well, being too overconfident and making reckless decisions. But ultimately, this energy just supports the chilled out sort of relaxed vibes that's needed with all the intense things that are happening today. So it can help us find a balance between our actions and expectations, and also help us stay grounded and avoid impulsiveness. The Sun, Saturn allows us to accept our responsibilities more and to reorganize as well. So some of us may feel a sense of duty at this time to take actions to make real changes, because it's full moon. After all, it's about release and all of that. This energy encourages us to accept our responsibilities and recognition of the consequences of our actions, so can stop the impulsiveness of Mars, what I talked about earlier, and the semi-square energy as well, because Mars is the core ruler of Scorpio as well as Pluto. So it allows for us to be more productive, more efficient, and negatively we can become too focused on our responsibilities. This can lead to stress and us being overwhelmed with this influence. But the best use of this transit energy is to use it to restructure your life in a way that aligns with your personal values, and accepting the responsibility for your actions and the consequences that will follow. So it reminds us to think carefully once again about what we're actually doing right now. Also today, the Sun makes a sextile quadrant to Pluto, so again points towards uncomfortable transformation and power struggles as well. Highlights the need to address hidden power dynamics and manipulations that are in our relationship. So if you've been manipulating or manipulated, this may come out right now as well. Also, again, adds to the intense emotions and desire for control, which can lead to conflicts and difficulty in relationships. So this super full moon, it's really bringing tension to our relationships as well. But it's all what happens is just opening us up for opportunities for profound growth and liberation by actively engaging in self-reflection and confronting our deepest fears and insecurities right now. It's important to approach up these transits today with mindfulness and commitment to your personal growth, as well as transforming any negative thought, behaviour, relationship patterns that are holding you back from your true potential. Also, there's several ongoing aspects that are happening at the time of the super full moon that I want to talk about. Mercury quintile Saturn, Mercury conjunct Uranus, Mercury semisextile Chiron, and Venus by quintile Saturn are ongoing. Venus trine Neptune, Venus opposed Pluto, and Mars quintuplets Saturn. So Mercury quintuplets Saturn can expect communication and mental thinking, processing to be emphasized at this time. And as Mercury is a key player in all of these aspects, the quintile to Saturn, the conjunction to Uranus, and the semisextile to Chiron. So just watch out that there can be a lot of communication, over communication, under communication as well. But the quintile to Saturn provides the harmony needed to be more productive in the flow of communication and information, while the conjunction to Uranus brings sudden, unexpected breakthroughs in intellectual tasks. So if you've been stuck in, any projects, intellectual, scientific research, coding, anything like that right now, this energy may bring you surprising breakthroughs in it as well. Mercury semisextile to Chiron reminds us of the need for careful analysis of any information and to pay more attention to detail in our thoughts and our conversations right now. Venus is by quintile to Saturn, trine to Neptune, and opposition to Pluto. Again, adds to the themes of intimacy, power dynamics, and trust that are happening at the time of this super full moon. So Venus by quintile Saturn again shows us that there's going to be some tension in relationships, relationships and maybe our finances right now. Some of us may find ourselves feeling a sense of responsibility and limitation when it comes to expressing our love, romantic feelings and enjoying pleasures right now, but Venus is trying to Neptune offers a glimmer of hope, bringing a more romantic, dreamy energy to our interactions with others, so we can tap into this energy to resolve any conflict and get more in tune with our compassionate and intuitive side. So this energy allows us to navigate power dynamics or trust issues that may come up, but Venus opposed Pluto can throw in those intense emotions as well, so also add to the jealousy and obsession that's happening right now, and also people being controlling and not respecting each other's boundaries right now as well. So it's important to approach these difficult emotions with compassion for yourself and any people you're involved in, and seek any support to overcome these complex web of energies that are at play with these Venus aspects. Mars is quintile to Saturn, Jupiter sextile to Saturn as well, and Neptune sextile to Pluto as well brings more intensity to these aspects. Mars is quintile, Saturn aspect is separating, so it's coming apart, but it still adds to the frustration and obstacles that can be felt right now as well. The Jupiter sextile Saturn aspect is beneficial for all types of personal growth and stability, so it's supporting all kinds of long-term planning and strategizing to achieve your success. Also, the ongoing, it's been going on for months and months, Neptune sextile Pluto helps us with that deep inner exploration that the full moon always calls for, and spiritual transformation if we're open to it. So, it can bring about a sense of renewal and regeneration, especially in, if we've been feeling stuck or stagnant in certain areas. The Mars is quintile Saturn, again reminds us that whatever happens now needs to be handled with care, and all in all, all of these aspects today give us the opportunity for growth, particularly in practical and spiritual matters as well. Pluto square in the North Node and Jupiter's conjunction to the North Node as well puts into the spotlight our authentic purpose and life direction. So some of you may feel a sense of energy to achieve your life purpose, or to change your life in such a way that you get rid of anything that's stopping you from living authentically and being who you truly are as well. And ultimately, this energy wants us to realise your authentic ambitions, your goals, and provides the ground and the seeds needed to achieve your goals in the long run. So these aspects bring a more optimistic and transformative energy during the super full moon in Scorpio, influencing growth and positive changes, because the North Node is all about moving towards our authentic life direction. So as I said earlier, at the time of the super full moon, the moon is in the 20th degree of Scorpio, which wants us to set powerful intentions and to evolve on the spiritual or intellectual levels, whatever it is you're into. So the 20th degree of Scorpio is symbolised by a woman drawing two dark curtains aside, letting in the light, which represents the unveiling of our innermost desires and access to our deepest emotions. So as we heard, there's a lot of aspects that are bringing out our hidden emotions, especially things like jealousy and obsessions may come to the surface right now. The woman pulling back the two heavy curtains, so it's sort of like laying down heavy, then the curtains are not light, so putting down our burdens, opening ourselves up to our intense emotions and accurate feelings, authentic feelings, and that block are the sacred pathways entrance. So this act symbolises the possibility of discovering a world beyond what you know through our drastic, logical sort of you're right, you're wrong, this way is the correct way, that way is the incorrect way, and being open to the grey areas of possibility as well. The woman represents the inner voice of faith, rooted in the innermost intuitive wisdom of the soul. Feminine energy reveals to us what lies beyond the limited perceptions of the human mind that is either stuck in pro and con, either or logical sort of thinking. So to access the spiritual path, which can lead to living a life of more unity and uniting our strengths and weaknesses, your shadow and light, you must first face and overcome the shadowy aspects of your personality, such as being selfish, being faithful, and being dualistic in your morality and the way that you look at life, and all the other things that block your way. And with bravery and conviction, you must plunge into the unknown, beyond the things that you're familiar with, so your comfort zone. The journey is not easy, but the rewards of faith and intuition are great, and by relying on these internal resources we can discover a world of possibilities and unimagined ways of being that can be limited by thinking conventionally and conforming to what other people expect of us, and what we may expect to be accepted. So this energy reminds us to let go of the past, so all the aspects are working to bring hidden things to the surface, and it's a super moon amplifying, and there's a lot of Venus and Jupiter energy happening as well today, Mercury as well, so a lot of communication. So all these energies are reminding us that we must take steps forward in our evolution, and we should seek to confirm our progress from divine powers rather than just looking purely to the external, going within and communing with whoever the higher power is with us, and being open to hearing and understanding this information that comes over time. It's not to rush, just be gentle with yourself as well. And some of you may get confirmation. This can just be by, I don't know, seeing a rainbow, seeing a feather, something you hear on TV, podcast, something a friend says that makes you feel like, this is what I really need to do right now. Also, the sun is in the 20th degree of Taurus, so this imagery is the wisps of clouds streaming across the sky like wings, reminding us to be flexible, because Scorpio energy can be very fixed, yeah. So it's reminding us to be adaptable as we navigate through life's challenges. The Taurus influence during this period encourages us to embrace and harness our creative potential, helping us to attain stability and move forward in life gracefully while practicing acceptance. The presence of the wing-like clouds symbolise the blessings of celestial beings that may be subtly guiding us. So the 20th degree Scorpio is, at the end I said, being open to divine confirmation. The sun here wants us to be more open to celestial information, intuitive information, and psychic realms that are subtly guiding us towards our destiny through these experiences. So some of you may have dreams, could be nightmares, well, that's not subtle, but or as I said, just like a sign from something that someone says that just makes you feel, this is what I need to do right now, I need to let go, or I need to move forward, or I need to revisit. For some of us, Scorpio energies going backwards sometimes as well. Sometimes we need to go backwards to come forward. So anyway, so through these experiences you can be, whatever happens, individual experiences may be different, but whatever happens to you right now, you can become more deeply rooted in your original nature and receive the blessings of the supernatural forces. And together these successful events invite us to tap into our inner selves, face our fears, and strive to create a more better future in a more positive way. The full moon marks a potent moment to set intentions for growth and renewal and healing, and to open ourselves up to the possibilities of our own spiritual evolution. The transiting aspects and the sabering degrees provide powerful and transformative energy that can help us dive deep, because it's about us being open to it. So dive deep into our subconscious and uncover hidden truths about ourselves that can help us move forward. The Scorpio energy invites us to release old patterns and embrace new beginnings. The woman drawing back two dark curtains aside suggests the unveiling of a new reality, while the wisp of clouds and wings that are streaming across the sky represents a sense of freedom and limitation from all that's holding us back. This super full moon is a reminder to trust our intuition, embrace the changes that come our way, and be more open to transformative and transcendent experiences. The moon's sister quadrant to Venus can bring challenges in relationships, while the moon's trine to Mars can provide a boost of energy and motivation. The semi-square to Pluto can bring deep transformational experiences, while the bisectile to Neptune can enhance our intuition and creativity. The trine to Chiron can bring healing and personal growth. Meanwhile, the sun's semi-square to Venus may cause tension in relationships, but the nouveau to Jupiter can bring luck and opportunities. So just reminding us that in every blessing there's a curse, and every curse there's a blessing. So the overall message of this transit is that discomfort and challenges can lead to growth and transformation, but only if we approach them with open minds and a commitment to our personal, lifelong, spiritual, emotional, psychological growth. And to do this, we must confront our deepest fears and insecurities to break free from negative patterns and behaviours. While the road may be difficult, the rewards of personal liberation are worth it in the end. The energy of Mercury quintal Saturn encourages us to be more precise in our communication and aids in stabilising discipline, bringing it more persistence and endurance into our life and allowing us to manage our responsibilities more effectively. The Mercury conjunction to Uranus can bring in surprising and unconventional ideas that can help us break free from our old patterns and beliefs. The Venuses by quintal Saturn can help us form more stable and lasting relationships. Venus is trying to Neptune supports a deep spiritual connection and a heightened increased sense of intuition. Venus's opposition to Pluto can bring transformative energy that pushes us to release old patterns and beliefs that no longer serve us. Mars's quintuplets to Saturn creates tension that can push us to be more productive and help us to harness our inner strength. Jupiter's sextile to Saturn brings in good luck and promotes balance and harmony, and Neptune's ongoing sextile to Pluto encourages us to seek deeper and look for more higher spiritual meanings into our life. Pluto square the North Node helps with us to be more transformative in our thinking and behaviours and our relationships and push past our negativity and let go of old patterns and embrace growth. And Jupiter's conjunction to the North Node may bring karmic events into our life for some of us as well, but also gives us that sense of abundance. So overall, the super full moon in Scorpio can be a time of powerful transformation and spiritual growth. So as we can harness the energy of these astrological aspects and transits to release old toxic thought, behaviour, relationship patterns, form lasting relationships with ourselves and others, and seek deeper spiritual meaning in our lives. So it's a time to embrace change and let go of what no longer serves us, trusting in the universe to guide us towards our highest path. So yeah, that was the analysis of the super full moon in Scorpio on the 4th of June. Take care. Bye bye.